Have you ever noticed airports speeding up each year while you crave a slower pace? For flyers over 65, modern travel isn't just a shift in feeling, it's a fundamental change. Physical counters are gone, replaced by apps, and policies update without notice, leaving many seniors unaware of the special accommodations they're owed. The truth is, the system quietly offers older travelers more rights, flexibility, and protections than most passengers receive. The issue isn't age. It's that these advantages are never communicated. This reveals a hidden guide of 11 updated rules for 2026 that can spare your joints, your stamina, your prescriptions, and sometimes your entire journey. Be warned, the 10th rule is the main reason even prepared seniors get stopped at security. Before your next flight, you'll want to double-check your identification. If you are over 65 or assisting someone who is, don't wait for a travel mishap to seek guidance. This is essential preparation for before you even step out the door. Take the first pitfall, the check-in process, which many older travelers don't anticipate. For the majority of passengers today, a journey starts not at the terminal, but on a smartphone. The industry standard now expects you to handle check-in via an app or a kiosk, possibly using facial recognition, before simply dropping your luggage. However, this modern flow is where complications often begin for seniors. While traditional check-in desks haven't vanished entirely, they are fewer and their queues are notoriously slow. Here is the crucial point: you absolutely have the right to a physical boarding pass. The error occurs when airport signs direct you toward express bag drop or mobile check-in lines, which are designed for passengers who are already checked in and where staff cannot assist with initial check-in. Your solution is to seek out the full-service or special assistance counter, where an agent can print your pass and resolve any issues. Given that airlines now prioritize digital processes, seniors requiring in-person service should plan to arrive at the airport with extra time. If you're not using the app, arriving 3 hours early for domestic flights is a much safer buffer. An even smarter tactic is to have a family member check you in remotely using the airline's app and then email you the boarding pass to print at home. Walking in with a physical ticket lets you bypass the digital chaos and begin your journey in a calmer state. This leads directly to the second critical rule: why wheelchair assistance often fails when requested too late. Many older travelers assume they can simply ask for mobility help upon arriving at the airport, but in 2026, this last-minute assumption is a common reason for missed flights. At major hubs like Atlanta, Denver, or LAX, this service is now expected to be added to your reservation at least 48 hours before departure. Without that note in the system, while staff may say they'll try to assist, you are effectively placed behind every traveler who planned ahead, which is how seniors end up struggling with bags through vast terminals or waiting helplessly as boarding begins. The solution is simple but requires precise wording. When you book your ticket or soon after, call the airline or your travel agent and state exactly, "Please add continuous mobility assistance from check-in through boarding with no handoffs." This specific phrasing doesn't just request a wheelchair, it instructs the system to provide end-to-end support, ensuring someone stays with you instead of transferring you between agents halfway through the airport. If long walks, standing in lines, or rushing between gates are hard on your knees, hips, or back, you should treat securing mobility assistance as an essential part of booking your ticket, not as a last-minute favor. That single, early phone call can conserve your energy long before you even step onto the aircraft. Once you are navigating the terminal calmly, the next logical question becomes, how can you secure early boarding without requiring a wheelchair? This is where the third rule applies. A common misconception is that early or assisted boarding is exclusively for passengers using wheelchairs, but that is incorrect. The system already acknowledges a broader range of needs than many realize. Conditions like arthritis, a replaced knee or hip, balance issues, or simply an inability to stand for extended periods are considered mobility limitations by many airlines. Even if you walk onto the plane independently, these conditions, under current accessibility standards, can qualify you for assisted or early boarding. The crucial step is using terminology the airline's system recognizes. When booking your ticket or calling later, you should specifically ask, Can you add a special service request for mobility support and assisted boarding to my reservation? This action creates a discrete note, known as an SSR, attached to your ticket. At the gate, this note will often flag your boarding pass, prompting an invitation to board with the assisted or early group, sparing you the strain of standing in a long line while most of the plane files past. This isn't about receiving special treatment. It's about proactively protecting your joints, balance, and stamina before you even reach your seat. And once boarding becomes a less stressful process, another concern becomes equally important. The concern over who can remain at your side is crucial, as receiving mobility support does not necessarily mean navigating the process alone, which leads directly to the fourth principle, ensuring you stay with your companion instead of being separated. Airports can be overwhelming, and for an older traveler requiring assistance, being divided from a spouse, family member, or helper can escalate ordinary stress into genuine distress. What is not widely known is that when you are receiving designated mobility or medical assistance, airlines are generally expected to allow one companion to remain with you. Under U.S. accessibility guidelines, this person can typically accompany you through security and during the boarding process. However, the specific language you use is critical. When you check in or arrive at the gate, avoid a vague statement like "we're together." Instead, state clearly, "We are traveling together and I am under mobility assistance. Please link our boarding for companion continuity." This specific phrasing instructs the agent to formally associate your reservations in the system, preventing you from being placed in different boarding groups and often pulling your companion into your earlier boarding group so staff recognize you as a single unit. There is also a lesser-known provision for situations where your helper is not even a passenger, such as an adult child simply dropping you off at the airport. Indeed, a surprising number of U.S. airports can issue what is known as a gate pass or non-passenger escort pass, which permits a family member to accompany you through security, walk with you to your departure gate, help you get settled, and remain with you until the boarding process begins. The simple request to make is, "I have mobility issues. Is it possible to issue a gate pass so my family member can escort me to the gate?" While this is subject to the policies of the specific airport and TSA approval, it is a common enough accommodation that it is always worthwhile to ask. Once you have navigated through security in a calmer state, the fifth rule addresses one of the most anxiety-inducing moments for older travelers: managing medical devices during the TSA screening process. For many seniors, this security checkpoint is the most stressful part of the journey. The bending to remove shoes, the unpacking of medications, and the general worry about what might trigger an alarm can feel overwhelming. The encouraging reality is that TSA already provides more accommodations for senior travelers and medical needs than is commonly understood. Items such as CPAP machines, insulin, liquid medications, or medical nutrition are categorized as medically necessary supplies, not as ordinary liquids or toiletries, and in many instances they are permitted to remain inside your carry-on bag. As you place your bag on the conveyor belt, a simple declarative statement like, "There are medically necessary items in this bag," can often prevent unnecessary unpacking and inspection, helping to keep your personal health details more private. This then leads to the common concerns regarding metal implants and pacemakers. Medical implants such as artificial joints, plates, or screws do not automatically cause delays. TSA offers a medical notification card that you can complete and present to an officer before the screening begins. For travelers with pacemakers, it is advisable to proactively request a manual pat-down instead of allowing the handheld wand to pass over your chest area. The guidelines are also evolving with newer scanning technology. Many older passengers, particularly those with balance or mobility concerns, are increasingly permitted to keep their shoes on. If removing footwear is difficult, you can simply and politely state your mobility limitation and inquire if an alternative screening method is available. Once you move beyond the security checkpoint with less stress, the next priority becomes safeguarding the essentials for your health, which leads directly to the sixth principle: managing medications and liquids in 2026. For many seniors, concerns over their medications create more anxiety than the boarding process itself. It helps to separate these items into two clear categories, liquids and pills. In the United States, medically necessary liquids, including insulin, prescription cough syrups, liquid nutritional supplements, and the ice packs required to keep them cool, are exempt from the standard 3.4-ounce limit for carry-on liquids. The most important factor is clear communication. At the security checkpoint, clearly stating these are medically necessary liquids as you present them will allow the agents to process them correctly, which may involve a visual inspection, a scan, or a brief swab for residue, but this upfront declaration prevents major delays and confusion. However, it is with pills, especially during international travel, that many older travelers are unexpectedly unprepared. While U.S. domestic TSA screening generally permits medications in daily pill organizers, regulations in many overseas destinations are stricter. Countries such as Japan, the United Arab Emirates, and parts of Europe may consider loose, unlabeled pills to be suspicious. For any international journey, the safest practice is to keep all medications in their original pharmacy bottles with labels that clearly show your name and the prescription dosage. The quantity you carry is also critical, as some nations impose limits on the amount of medication, measured by days or months' supply, that a visitor may bring. There have been instances where seniors arriving abroad have had their pills counted, with any excess beyond the legal limit being confiscated. Before any extended trip, it is essential to consult the official customs or health website of your destination country or seek guidance from your pharmacist to ensure compliance. Once your medications are properly secured, the seventh rule addresses how to transport temperature-sensitive drugs without sacrificing your carry-on allowance. If you travel with insulin or other medications requiring refrigeration, a constant concern is whether they are staying within a safe temperature range. Under current U.S. airline regulations, a small, dedicated cooler bag used exclusively for medical supplies is typically considered a separate medical item. This means it generally does not count against your standard carry-on bag limit, provided its contents are clearly identifiable as medically necessary. The key to ensuring your medical cooler bag is accepted without issue is to keep its purpose both obvious and unambiguous. Use a small, soft-sided cooler or insulated pouch and attach a simple tag that reads "Medical Supplies" or "Insulin." This practice is widely understood and respected by U.S. airlines. For international travel, it is wise to verify the specific policies of your carrier ahead of time. Once you are on the aircraft, do not stow temperature-sensitive medication in the overhead bin, as cabin air can warm these spaces significantly. Instead, keep your cooler with you at your seat. The optimal time to request assistance is as you board, not later during the flight. When you enter the plane, hold the clearly labeled bag and politely ask a flight attendant, "I am traveling with medication that requires refrigeration. Is it possible to store this in a crew cooler?" A clearly identified pouch makes it much easier for the crew to accommodate your request as a courtesy and to remember to return it to you before landing. With your medication safely secured, the next priority becomes your own comfort during the flight, which is the focus of the eighth rule, protecting your personal space and your joints while seated. A cramped middle seat may be merely unpleasant for a 25-year-old, but for a traveler over 65 with knee issues, a hip replacement, or limited mobility, it can result in pain that lingers for days. What many seniors are unaware of is that on numerous U.S. airlines, securing an aisle or bulkhead seat can be considered an accessibility requirement, not merely a personal preference. If you have difficulty rising from a seated position, require frequent restroom access, use a mobility aid like a cane or walker, or experience significant joint pain, you are not requesting a preferential upgrade, you are requesting a seat that your body can physically tolerate for the duration of the flight. The specific language you use is, once again, critical. Rather than asking, "Can I change seats?" you should state, "I need an accessibility accommodation for mobility and comfort under DOT policy." This precise phrasing frames your request within the context of recognized accessibility guidelines, fundamentally changing how airline staff are obligated to process and fulfill it. Positioning your request as an accessibility need, rather than a matter of convenience, establishes a different framework for the conversation. Should an agent appear uncertain, you can calmly follow up by asking, "If that's not possible, may I speak with the complaint resolution official?" Every U.S. airline is mandated to have a CRO, a specialist trained specifically in disability and accessibility regulations. While their desk is rarely advertised, invoking this role demonstrates your awareness of your rights. This approach won't secure a business class seat, but it can fundamentally change your experience from an ordeal of pain and immobility to a journey where you can stand, stretch, and access the restroom without navigating a challenging obstacle course. Once your in-flight seating is settled, your comfort shouldn't end at the cabin door. The ninth principle reveals how older travelers can find refuge from the exhausting clamor of terminals to rest and recharge between flights. Modern airports, with their overwhelming noise, harsh lighting, and constant announcements, can deplete your energy reserves long before boarding. A resource most travelers overlook is that many major airports now provide designated quiet rooms, sensory rooms, or accessibility lounges. Though the names vary, their purpose is consistent: to offer a sanctuary with subdued lighting, reduced noise, and comfortable seating where your body and mind can genuinely recuperate. Originally created for neurodivergent passengers, these spaces are increasingly available to any traveler who requires a calmer environment, including seniors. They are intentionally discreet, so you won't typically find prominent signage directing you to them. You must inquire directly at an airport information desk, check-in counter, or gate. Simply ask, "Where is the accessibility lounge or quiet waiting area located?" If you are already documented as receiving mobility or assisted boarding support, you can enhance your request by adding, "I am under assisted boarding. Am I eligible for a quiet or accessibility waiting area?" While the answer may sometimes be no, when it is yes, the impact is significant. Rather than enduring the noise and discomfort of a standard gate area, you gain access to a tranquil space designed for relaxation, where the subdued atmosphere allows your stress to diminish and your energy to recover. If you have ever felt overwhelmed by the airport environment, this ninth rule is specifically for you. This brings us to the 10th and most critical rule, the one that can halt a journey before it even starts: proper identification and biometric checks. Before your next flight, pause and carefully examine the identification in your wallet, not your name or photo, but the small star in the upper corner. In the United States, Real ID is now the mandatory standard for domestic air travel. If your driver's license lacks that small star or is marked "not for federal identification," TSA is no longer permitted to accept it as your primary form of ID at the security checkpoint. This issue frequently impacts older travelers, as many individuals over 65 may have stopped driving years ago or never felt the urgency to upgrade their license. However, at the airport, that absent symbol can bring your trip to an immediate halt. If this applies to you, you will need a Real ID-compliant state identification card or a valid U.S. passport. Furthermore, there is a second, often overlooked layer of identification checks: the growing use of biometrics. Airports and airlines are increasingly implementing facial recognition scans at kiosks, boarding gates, and during passport control. This system compares your current appearance to a government photo that could be years old. If your passport picture is outdated and you have experienced significant weight change, undergone surgery, or simply aged, the automated software may fail to recognize you. The simple yet effective solution is to carry a secondary form of photo identification with a more recent image, such as a state ID or a trusted traveler card, which allows a human officer to manually verify your identity and override the system if necessary. Therefore, when this information concludes, perform this single crucial action: open your wallet, confirm the presence of the star, and verify your passport's expiration date. If you were uncertain, this 10th rule has just prevented significant future stress. With your identification confirmed, we can finally address the matter of finances, which leads to the 11th and final principle: understanding the reality of senior fares and the hidden fees that often accompany them. That small senior checkbox you occasionally see during online booking appears beneficial, but in practice, its advantages are much more restricted than many assume. For most major airlines, senior benefits are typically embedded within specific, limited fare types rather than serving as a blanket waiver for all additional charges. Simply being over 65 does not automatically exempt you from fees for booking by phone, receiving agent assistance, or making changes to your itinerary. Consider Air France as a prime illustration. They market a senior pass for an annual subscription. While it advertises improved change and cancellation terms, these benefits only apply if you subsequently purchase qualifying fares, and even then, associated fees are usually merely reduced, not eliminated. Within the United States, carriers like United, Delta, and American Airlines may offer senior fares on certain routes. These generally constitute a different pricing tier or come with slightly modified rules, not a comprehensive exemption from standard service fees. Therefore, a more strategic approach is required. When speaking to an airline representative, frame your request strategically by asking, which fare provides the greatest flexibility if my plans need to change, rather than inquiring about a generic senior discount. For many mature travelers, the true value lies not in a modest price reduction but in securing a ticket that offers protection against unexpected shifts in health, energy, or family obligations. While the evolution of air travel, marked by more apps, scanners, and fine print, continues to accelerate, the right preparation can turn your age into an asset. This approach grants you access to necessary accommodations, more time, appropriate assistance, a suitable seat, and a calmer journey, allowing you to arrive with your energy intact. If this information has made flying after 65 seem more manageable, please share it with someone you care about, and in the comments, describe which airport rule or surprise has caught you off guard in your own travels. Remember to pack medications carefully, double-check your ID, and always allocate more time than a digital app suggests.